Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Real Sports Update here. Back again with another video. Y'all see the title, you see the thumbnail. This 2022 Chargers offense has the potential to be a pick your poison offense. If everything runs smoothly and Joe Lombardi is on his square, this most certainly can definitely be a pick your poison offense, but there are some things that has to happen for that to become a reality. So, and yes, before I get started, yes, I am wearing a Rams shirt. I got this for free a couple years ago, so don't take anything from that. It's still boat gang over here. Okay, so let's jump into it. I don't know if anybody really noticed, but during the preseason, the Chargers really, all three preseason games, they really got into some power running stuff. Some stuff that we did not see last year. And this was like power running stuff, counters and things like that. And I know that these are staple plays in almost every offense's playbook, but we did not see a whole lot of that last year. Last year we seen a lot of dives and things like that, and we seen a lot of running on the left side. And I thought it was very interesting. You can go back and watch some of the preseason games. There was power running stuff, kind of West Coast offense principle power running stuff, and I thought that was interesting, just because the Chargers didn't run that stuff this year, but I said it way back when the draft happened, after the Chargers selected Zion Johnson. I figured that there would be a shift into a lot of power running, just because you have your offensive line solidified, right? You have guys up there who are good run blockers, and this would inevitably take a lot of pressure off of Justin Herbert, even though he's shown he can handle all the pressure that, comes with his position. But to make his job, a little bit easier, that would definitely, I think, put the Chargers, if you're talking about getting over a hump, I think that puts them over the hump if the Chargers are able to run the ball. And, after the drafting of Zion Johnson, it really made sense that the Chargers would go here, right? Because you can, look at all of Justin Herbert's heroics. You can look at everything that he has done. You can, you don't have to look far. You can go back to the Week 18 game last season. Justin Herbert, was the reason why the Chargers even had a chance to win that game against the Raiders, right? He was the only reason why. The run game, non-existent. And, at that point, it was one-dimensional football. It's, hey, Justin Herbert, go out here and save us. And as fun as that is to watch, it is not a reasonable expectation for a football team, especially a football team that has, aspirations of, a long playoff run, right, and potentially a Super Bowl berth, right? That is not that's not a reasonable thing to expect. So the Chargers obviously had to pivot to this, and I think it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense for this season specifically. There are 4 running backs now on this roster who are all going to get carries, right? You look at Austin Eckler, Joshua Kelly, Sony Michel, and then Isaiah Spiller. So there are 4 guys who are now going to get carries in this Charger offense, and I think it makes a lot of sense to feature this running game. And this running game will most definitely be multifaceted, right? And this is something that I am personally excited for as a Charger fan. The Chargers are now going to be able to run the ball on the right side. And if you are a Charger fan, and if you paid attention a lot last year, most of the yardage gained, specifically by Austin Eckler in the running game, came off of the left side. The Chargers ran behind Rashawn Slater and Matt Filer on the left side of the line, right? Obviously, Corey Linsley at center as well, too. So, you have those 3 guys, you run left, you're able to pick up yards behind them. The right side of the line last season in 2021 was putrid as far as the run game goes. They were okay blocking in the passing game. Weren't the best, but they weren't the worst. Storm Norton, obviously, he got whipped by Max Crosby in that Week 18 matchup. It was just a bad matchup. But Storm Norton, he played admirable for a good portion of the 2021 season. But as far as run blocking goes, it was not good. Storm Norton at right tackle last season, and Michael Schofield was at right guard last season. This was after the injury to Ode Abushi. Ode Abushi was playing really, really well until he got injured in that Week 5 game against the Browns. So this was Michael Schofield. He, ended up taking his place, and the Chargers could not do anything on the right side of the line. They could not do anything. They could not run the ball for anything on the right side of the line last season. Look no further than the Week 15 game against Kansas City last season, right? When the Chargers, they played well enough to win the game. Obviously, didn't end up winning it, but in the fourth quarters, in actually in the third quarter and in the fourth quarter as well too, the Chargers got a lot of good running stuff going on. All of it was on the left side of the line. You can go back and watch the game. All of it was on the left side, and this was an issue, right? This was an issue because you have to be able to, if you're going to have a solid run game, you have to be able to run to both sides. You have to be able to run to both sides. You have to be able to run off tackle to both sides. And if you can't run off tackle to both sides, you really shrink your running game, right? And these NFL coaches, defensive coaches, they know, they're not stupid. They understand, the strengths and weaknesses of teams. They're just going to load up the left side of the line. They're going to shut down your running game, and then you're going to become one-dimensional. And that's what happened, I think, too many times to the Chargers last year in 2021. This year is a different story, though. Zion Johnson at right guard is a road grader. This dude is built. He's built like I've never even seen a guard built like him. He is huge, and he's compact, and he is able to get out. He's able to, get out and pull. He's very athletic, but his pads are always low to the ground. He has a low center of gravity, and I don't see many people move him either. Like, he's just a guy that is unmovable, especially when he's coming at you. You're gonna go low. You're gonna get out of the way. You're gonna do something because you're just not gonna move that guy. He's strong. He's very, very strong. So I think him being on the right side, Trey Pipkins at right tackle, right? Trey Pipkins, there's a lot that's been said about him, but for whatever anybody wants to say about him, he's a much better run blocker than Storm Norton is at the right tackle position. So the Chargers are going to be able to run some stuff on the right side of the line. That is going to be huge because that was not there last year in that offense. And when you really shut down an entire side of, your running game to the right side, where you're just relegated to run to the left, it really is, and this is something that a lot of people really don't look at and see as a huge deal, but it really is a huge deal. It's a very, very big deal, especially when you get into these games where, it's time to clinch a playoff spot or, if you are in the playoffs and all this stuff. Like, just not being able to do that will lose you a game. You have to be able to diversify on offense. You got to be able to diversify in the passing game, obviously, but you have to be able to diversify in the running game as well, too. And if you're not able to do that, you're going to be asked out. And that's pretty much what the Chargers were last year. But I am looking forward to a lot of power stuff this year. I've already seen a lot of counter plays, and I think those are going to be very, very big, especially with 4 running backs who are going to be getting a lot of carries. That's going to be huge, right? Running counters and stuff, having Matt Filer come in, pull on the right side, and then having Zion Johnson, do the same thing and pull on the left side. Getting behind those big guys on the offensive line, it's just going to open up so many things offensively. And then as far as the passing game goes, you look at Mike Williams, you know what he can do. You look at Keenan Allen, you know what he can do. The guys I'm excited about, Gerald Everett and DeAndre Carter, because both of these guys are going to bring a vertical element to the passing game that I think wasn't there last year. Jared Cook was not the fastest guy. He obviously didn't have the best hands, but he is very mechanical in his movements. He was an older tight end. He's had a good career in the NFL, but he just wasn't that guy to really take the top off of a defense. Gerald Everett can do that at the tight end position, and he's got a lot of wiggle. He's got kind of wide receiver wiggle for a guy who's playing tight end. So that is going to be a definite plus in the passing game. That's just going to open up so many things on the outside, right? Because if you have a tight end who can, take the top off, right? If you bring a linebacker down, you try to cover him, he's going to get behind the linebacker. Now you're going to have to bring up a safety to stop him. And then that's going to open up the outside one-on-one with Mike Williams, one-on-one with Keenan Allen. And then you have a guy like DeAndre Carter who can stretch the field vertically and horizontally. This Joe Lombardi offense, this offshoot of the Sean Payton New Orleans Saints offense, that when it was running at its best, that's what they did, to perfection. And, I haven't really seen a lot of offenses do that, even just in the modern era. They use every blade of grass, pretty much. They stretch the field vertically, they stretch the field horizontally, all the way, from sideline to sideline, from end zone to end zone. They use every blade of grass, a lot of the jet sweeps, a lot of the reverses and things like that to, if defenders are their eyes aren't trained, or their eyes are in the wrong place, whatever, they can get caught, and obviously you can end up having big plays off of that. So I think these guys are really going to bring something to this offense that wasn't there last year, and I think they're going to be able to unlock another level of offense that wasn't there last year. Last year, most of what happened last year was Justin Herbert's heroics, right? We can go over, I posted a video several months ago of Herbert's best throws, and a lot of it was Herbert heroics, right? He's throwing guys open. Guys are not really all that open. He's moving out of the pocket, throwing on the run, throwing guys open. It just wasn't really scripted. This stuff wasn't obviously scripted in the offense. And it's good. It's fine, right? It makes for great highlights. But like I said, if you are trying to build a Super Bowl contending team, you got to have layups at some point, right? So these are going to be layups. These throws are going to be open. Now, they're going to be layups. Herbert is one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the league, right? His job is going to be much easier because guys are going to be running a lot more open this season than they were last season, right? Just with the threat of the running game, right? A complete running game, with being able to run tackle to tackle, and having the middle of the field occupied by a guy who has better hands, who has better wiggle, and who has better athleticism at tight end, right? And then having a guy like DeAndre Carter come in, being able to stretch the field, or just being able to act as a decoy, right? Just being able to have guys have, eyes on him, and then, maybe you're able to hit Mike Williams down the field, or, Keenan Allen somewhere in the intermediate range. It's just going to open so many things for the Chargers offense. So this can really be a pick your poison offense. I think the only thing that can hold this back is the game planning by Joe Lombardi. Joe Lombardi, his signature and his standard really seems to be conservative. When he seems unsure about something, it always goes back to being conservative. And, that could potentially be a problem. It was a problem last year, but, with the increased, talent, especially up front on the offensive line, with, 4 really good running backs, right? 4 guys who are really going to get carries, and 4 guys that are really capable of giving you 20 carries a game if need be. I don't see that being a problem. I don't see the Joe Lombardi conservatism really being a problem this year. If it is, it will stand out, because I think the balling that these guys are going to be able to do, it's going to show where this offense can really go. And if Joe Lombardi is a guy who's going to be in the way, I think it'll show. I really do think it'll show. But, just as far as stats and things go, I don't care if the Chargers are the number 1 offense. I don't care if they're top 5. I really don't care. As long as they are good on third downs, and as long as they present a really viable running game, they're going to be fine. They're going to put up numbers. Justin Herbert's going to put up his numbers. The receivers are going to put up their numbers. Everything is going to fall into place, as far as stats go. But I think a lot of people look at stats, they put too much stock into it. I really don't care. Obviously, as long as they're not, down in the lower end towards the bottom. But, they will be one of the top offenses in the league, just based off of they can do everything, right? There's really no weaknesses on this offense, barring any injury and things like that. But we'll see how everything turns out. But I think this can really be a pick your poison offense. This can be one of the most complete offenses that the Chargers franchise has ever seen, right? Going back to LT and Phillip Rivers and all of that stuff, they ran the ball really well, but Phillip Rivers was not the quarterback that Justin Herbert is, especially in his 3rd season. So this can be an offense for the ages, but hopefully everything turns out the way that it's supposed to turn out. Hopefully everybody stays relatively healthy throughout the season so that they are able to reach this level of success, because all of the pieces are there. All of the pieces are there. They just have to make it happen, and that's where we're at now. So, but that's all I got for this video, guys. Just want to thank you guys for all the support, all the comments, all the views, all the likes. Shout out to all of my new subscribers. Thank you guys so much. I will be dropping more content as the week goes on. We are now officially in Raider week. The game is on Sunday, so as we get closer, I will start covering more and more topics as we get closer to the game. But that's all I got for this video, guys. Thank you guys so much for all the support, and until next time.